There has been a new documentary in the Casey Anthony case. So if you didn't know, a few years ago, Casey Anthony released a documentary. I think it was with Peacock, like Where the Truth Lies or something like that. And it was rough, man. And I know it changed a lot of people's opinions. Like they started believing Casey Anthony for some reason, and I never did. She is a pathological liar who has done nothing but been literally aided and embedded. Like, you know what I mean? She's been encouraged to be a liar by her defense team, because after she was let off the hook for her daughter Kaylee's death, her defense team literally gave her money and set her up for life. She was acquitted in 2011. She gets a chunk of money from her defense team, and they did their best to make sure that she had a normal life after that. She had no help from her birth family at all. So she basically calls her defense team her surrogate family. Pat McKenna was the lead investigator on her case, and now she's been working as his research assistant for 10 years. She claims in her documentary that she does criminal defense work because she doesn't want to see people railroaded like she was. Right? And by media too. So that's that. In that documentary, she also talks about her parents and how it was basically her father that was responsible for Kaylee's death, that he abused Casey, sexually abused her as a child, and Casey when she was a child, both of them. And did, like, some of the stuff she says, like that he used to suffocate her and all kinds of things. And that when this happened, she woke up and couldn't find Kaylee or something like that. And then at some point, she sees her father walking up with Kaylee in her arms, holding her soaking wet, and said she drowned in the pool and that everything was going to be okay. And that her father basically did everything, disposed of the body and everything. And in this documentary, her parents never watched Casey's documentary. They never watched it. And it's been years. Like, they didn't want to know. They only heard from like friends and stuff and texts and stuff. And apparently since that documentary, they get tons of emails and phone calls harassing them, calling her father a pedo and all kinds of stuff. And it's horrible. Like, they're living in hell, straight up. So in this documentary, they are doing a lie detector test. Her mother and her father, because her mother's been accused of hiding the truth and protecting her husband, and the father's accused of what I just told you. And they make it super dramatic, okay? And the editing tries to make them look bad. I saw Annie Elise talk about this. I didn't watch all of it, but she did say, like, his body language in the car on the way to the lie detector test was super weird. And I'm thinking, yeah, but it's going back and forth between him sitting quiet and her talking. So when was that edited? Like, you should know, Annie Elise, that we edit, like, shows edit. So when was he moving his body like that? Was it during a different time and he was uncomfortable? Because we don't know when those two things, because it was a totally different camera going back and forth from the wife talking to the journalist and going back to him. And yeah, he looks uncomfortable, but we don't know when that was pieced together. If he was looking uncomfortable when they were talking about whatever in the car. And also the lie detector test, the editing is it tries to make him look bad. But at the end of the documentary, they give the results. And he was asked if he ever abused them. He got 2 tests, basically, about the pedophilia stuff and then also about Kaylee's death. He passed all of it. And so did the wife. And they were literally talking about ending their marriage over this, if it came out that he was lying. And it was, from everything I saw, the way the retired FBI agent did it, and he also had someone else verify his results, he did it the most professional way I think you possibly could.
Well, good.
Like, he verified and he asked the questions over and over. He made sure they didn't see the allegations from Casey to make sure that they didn't have any, like, emotional things going on, so they could only watch it after. Like, he did a lot to really control the variables to try to make it the most accurate reading possible.
I mean, that's good. That's the only way to do those tests because those tests are so flawed.
Yeah, he said it's from anywhere from 80 to 90% accurate.
Yeah.
Which, that's pretty good, but it's not enough for a court of law, obviously, because we don't allow them in a court of law.
I know.
Which is good. That's
I mean,
a good thing.
I don't know if it's good, but
So, since their documentary came out, this article came out 3 days ago. It came out on December 11th or January 11th. And it's about Casey Anthony being in full meltdown mode after they released this documentary and her dad passed a lie detector test. Her friends apparently have been contacting the Messenger, which is the name of this website that the article's on, themessenger.com. A friend of hers, I guess, has been talking to them and told them Casey's state of mind. So it's been nearly a week since she saw it, and she's still going on and on. She's watched it a couple times. And she keeps talking about how much BS the whole thing was, and she's in full-on meltdown mode.
Interesting.
Really interesting, because I think I never felt like the parents were involved. I never, because she was such a liar. She lied so much about every single thing, and she wasn't even living with them at the time. Her daughter was missing for a month.
I know.
Her mom had no idea where her daughter was.
And her actions during that month were so shady.
Yeah.
Like going out and partying, and yeah, I know.
That's in her. There was a big argument in the parents documentary between the mother and the father of Casey, talking about like what their theories on the case was. Her mom actually like really believes that Kaylee drowned, and the father he has a hard time with that because he feels like she's still validating Casey in some way. And he's like, dude, the attorney Jose Baez literally made that up with her and tried to get him to take the fall. That's literally what he said to the mother. Jose Baez came in and said, look, Kaylee drowned. You know, Casey really wants you to know what happened to Kaylee, and she drowned. And, you know, her actions were not good, and somebody's got to take for the fall for it, and it's got to be George, your husband. And they made up this whole story, and still somehow the mom was still believing that Kaylee drowned. But George, the father, thinks that Casey drugged her to make her sleep and gave her too much, and she died. And he or did it intentionally to get Kaylee out of the way because she wanted to party.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's really sad seeing how much this has affected their lives even now. Like to this day,
it is really sad.
Every single day they live in turmoil.
Yeah. Yep. All because of her. If that is what ended up happening, it's really a shame having a situation like this where we never truly know all those details.
I mean, there's a reason we don't know, you guys, and it's because she's such a liar. She knows what happened. She's just won't ever tell the truth about it. Ever.
Yeah.
She wasn't railroaded. She was exonerated because she had a lawyer who was a good salesman and knew what he was doing.
Yep. Salesmen run the world.
You know, her lawyer is going to be involved in a case again sometime soon. I'm not sure which case it is. I just heard rumors about it.
This case made his career. Every criminal that has money, this guy's hourly rate should be over 1,000 easy now, which is insane.
That's a lot of money, man. But you know something interesting? He made Casey sign her rights, like intellectual property rights, like her name and Kaylee's name and like all of that stuff over to him as the sole owner.
Yeah. To get her off, I mean.
So that he could make money from it for the rest of his life.
Yep.
Dude, that's shady.
Welcome to our justice system.
That's some shady practices, man. That I don't know. But let me know what you guys think. I should have said spoiler alert. So maybe Brennan can edit that in. Spoiler alert, you're gonna hear things that you might not want to hear, you know?
Yeah.
If you haven't watched the new Casey Anthony Parents documentary. But I want to know what you guys think. Please let me know in the comments. Do you feel the same about the parents as you did before the documentary and all of this information? Did you ever think the parents were involved? It's just my opinion, man. I never thought so. But let me know what you think.
Let me know.